Jackie Chan, shutting down disrespectful interviewer. Jackie Chan walked into the brightly lit television studio, his iconic smile lighting up the room. He had grown used to interviews during the global press tour for his latest action-packed blockbuster, Fury's Path. The martial arts legend had faced countless journalists throughout his career, and though some interviews bordered on invasive, Jackie's charm and wit always allowed him to maintain grace under pressure. But before we dive into what happens next, I'd love to know, where are you tuning in from today? Drop a comment below and please like the video. Thank you. Today's interview was supposed to be no different. A friendly promotional segment on a popular talk show in Hong Kong. The host, Stephen Yu, was known for his spirited and sometimes controversial style, which Jackie had brushed off as part of the business. The crowd cheered as Jackie made his way to the stage, bowing slightly and waving. He took his seat across from Stephen, the cameras rolling and the energy in the room electric. Stephen wasted no time diving into the conversation, starting with lighthearted banter about Jackie's stunts, his dedication to his craft, and the physical toll of performing dangerous action scenes. "I'm amazed you're still doing all this at your age," Stephen joked, eliciting laughter from the audience. "Do you ever think of slowing down, maybe focusing more on family life?" Jackie smiled warmly, brushing off the question. "My work is my passion," he replied. "But of course, my family means everything to me. I try to balance it as best I can." Stephen nodded, his grin widening. "Speaking of family, your wife, Joan Lin, she's such an elegant, private woman. I'm curious, does she ever complain about how much time you spend away?" The question felt slightly intrusive, but Jackie maintained his composure. "Joan has been my greatest supporter," he said, his voice steady. "She understands my work, and I'm grateful for her love and patience." The audience clapped, appreciating Jackie's heartfelt response. But Stephen wasn't finished. His tone shifted, becoming sharper, more probing. "Some people say she's too patient," Stephen said, leaning forward. "There are rumors, about your past, about affairs, arguments, the sacrifices she's made to stay with you. What would you say to critics who think she's been too forgiving?" The room fell silent. Jackie's smile faltered for the first time, his brow tightening. He straightened in his chair, fixing Stephen with a piercing gaze. The audience sensed the tension immediately. "Excuse me?" Jackie said, his voice low but firm. Stephen, perhaps emboldened by the reaction, pressed on. "I mean, don't you think it's fair for people to ask about this? Your fans want to know the truth about your personal life, about Joan." Jackie cut him off, his tone rising. "What my fans care about is my work, my dedication to them, and the stories I tell through my films. My personal life is not a circus for you to dissect." The audience murmured, some leaning forward in their seats. Stephen hesitated but quickly regained his smug demeanor. "Well, Jackie, this is live TV. Don't you think transparency is part of being a public figure?" Jackie leaned closer, his expression sharp and unyielding. "Let me ask you something, Stephen. Do you think you're very smart?" The question caught Stephen off guard. He stammered, I'm just doing my job." "No," Jackie interrupted, his voice cutting through the air like a blade. "Your job is to ask meaningful questions, to engage in a respectful dialogue. Instead, you sit here fishing for gossip, disrespecting my wife, a woman who isn't even here to defend herself. Are you very stupid?" The audience gasped, the tension in the studio reaching its peak. Stephen's confident facade crumbled as he struggled to respond. "I didn't mean any disrespect." "But you did," Jackie said, his voice commanding. "My wife is a private person. She has supported me for decades without asking for the spotlight. And you think it's appropriate to drag her into this? To reduce her to the subject of your tabloid-style questions?" Stephen opened his mouth, but Jackie didn't give him the chance. "Let me tell you something. Respect is earned, Stephen. You don't earn it by tearing others down for a cheap headline. My wife deserves more respect than you'll ever understand." The audience erupted into applause, their support for Jackie undeniable. Stephen, now visibly flustered, attempted to steer the conversation back to safer ground. Let's talk about the movie then." Jackie leaned back, his expression softening slightly but his tone still firm. "Good idea. Maybe next time you'll remember the difference between an interview and an ambush." The remainder of the segment was uneventful, with Stephen stumbling through pre-written questions and Jackie answering them with professional detachment. But the damage was done. The clip of Jackie calling out Stephen went viral within hours, dominating social media and news headlines. Fans praised Jackie's defense of his wife, applauding his refusal to tolerate disrespect. Meanwhile, Stephen faced a storm of backlash, with many accusing him of crossing a line and exploiting Jackie's personal life for ratings. In the weeks that followed, Jackie released a statement emphasizing his love and gratitude for Joan. "She has been my partner, my rock, and my greatest teacher," he wrote. "I will always protect her dignity, no matter the cost." As for Stephen, his career took a hit. Sponsors pulled out, and his show's ratings plummeted. He issued a public apology, but the damage to his reputation was irreversible. Jackie, however, remained unshaken. His actions had reminded the world of the importance of respect, dignity, and loyalty, and of the quiet power that comes from standing up for those you love. The aftermath of the interview sent shockwaves through the media industry. Jackie Chan, already beloved worldwide for his humility and hard work, became a symbol of unwavering integrity. Fans and colleagues alike rallied around him, sharing their admiration not just for his talents, but for his character. But the story didn't end there. Unbeknownst to the public, Jackie had taken Stephen's attack on his wife as a personal call to action. While Stephen's career was floundering, Jackie saw an opportunity to address something deeper: the culture of invasive journalism that often preyed on the privacy of public figures. A few weeks later, Jackie announced he was spearheading a campaign titled *Dignity Matters*, aimed at promoting ethical media practices. The campaign called for better boundaries between the private lives of celebrities and the stories that truly mattered to audiences. It wasn't just a statement, it was a movement. The first major event for Dignity Matters was a press conference held in Hong Kong, where journalists from around the world gathered. Jackie took the stage, dressed in a simple suit, his demeanor calm but commanding. "Respect," he began, his voice steady, "is not just about how we treat the people in front of us. It's about the unseen. Those who don't have a microphone, who can't defend themselves when someone tries to tear them down for entertainment. My wife Joan is one of those people. She has supported me for years without asking for attention, and that night I realized I owed her more than just my love. I owed her my voice." The room was silent, every journalist hanging on his words. Jackie continued, "I'm not here to silence the media. I believe in the power of journalism to inform, inspire, and unite people. But when that power is used irresponsibly, to exploit or to harm, it's our duty to stand against it. That's what *Dignity Matters* is about." He unveiled plans for workshops aimed at training young journalists to balance the public's right to know with ethical reporting. There would also be grants for investigative pieces on meaningful topics like social justice, environmental issues, and human interest stories that uplifted rather than tore down. The response was overwhelming. Celebrities from all over the globe joined Jackie's cause, sharing their own experiences with invasive journalism. Even some seasoned journalists, who had grown disillusioned with the sensationalism dominating their field, voiced their support. Meanwhile, Stephen Yu's apology tour was failing miserably. Public sentiment had turned against him, and though he tried to frame himself as a victim of misunderstanding, his insincerity was evident. Invitations to major events dried up, and sponsors withdrew their support. Eventually, his show was canceled, leaving him to reflect on how one moment of arrogance had cost him everything. But Stephen's downfall wasn't the end of his story either. Months later, Stephen approached Jackie privately, requesting a meeting. Against his advisor's recommendations, Jackie agreed. They met in a quiet cafe, away from the prying eyes of the media. Stephen looked haggard, the confidence he once wielded so carelessly now replaced by humility. "I wanted to apologize," he said, his voice trembling. "Not just for what I said about your wife, but for the way I've treated people in general. Losing everything made me realize how blind I've been." Jackie studied him for a long moment before nodding. It's good to acknowledge your mistakes, but what matters is what you do next. Stephen's voice cracked. I want to change. I want to use whatever influence I have left to support your campaign. Jackie leaned back, his expression unreadable. Change isn't easy, Stephen. It takes more than words. Are you ready for that? I am, Stephen said firmly. I want to earn back my dignity, even if it takes years. Jackie nodded, his gaze softening. Then let's start. Stephen began working with Dignity Matters in a behind-the-scenes capacity, assisting with outreach and helping to organize workshops. Though the public was initially skeptical, his sincerity and hard work gradually won people over. He became an advocate for ethical journalism, sharing his own mistakes as a cautionary tale. Meanwhile, Dignity Matters flourished, evolving into a global initiative that transformed the way media approached storytelling. It wasn't just about protecting celebrities, it was about fostering a culture of respect and empathy in an increasingly polarized world. And Jackie? He continued to do what he had always done: bridge divides, inspire others, and stand as a testament to the power of humility and strength. The incident that had started as an embarrassing moment on live TV became a turning point, not just for Jackie and Stephen, but for everyone who believed in the importance of treating one another with dignity.